Nah, this ain't nonsense, this is nonfiction. So excuse if the content is offensive, it's official. Now that we have been acquainted, this is my pleasure, my pain, your entertainment.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Nonpfixion come back at you one more time with a brand new reaction. And this time the reaction is for Loki Episode 5 breakdown by 3C Films. 3C Films is someone I not just started, but I recently started following them probably a little while back. Ran into them because of Real Rejects. Real Rejects, they react to some of their videos and their breakdowns of various concepts for Loki, and I started following them too, and they have their breakdown for Loki. They're one of the first people actually to have a breakdown for Loki. I'm just doing it later in the day instead of early in the morning when I really wanted to do it. But we've been dealing with some other stuff. Anyways, like I said, this is from 3C Films, and it's their Loki Episode 5 breakdown for Easter eggs and ending spoiler review. So, let's actually get right into it. I'll make sure it sounds good. Okay.
Whoa, Mobius, you saved me! That's a nice car!
That's not my car. It's my variant.
Ka-chow.
Hello, Loki fans. Thanks for clicking on this video. My
So
name is Chris.
silly.
I'm not sure who's currently working at the TVA, but they need to go knock on them Disney doors because they forgot to add my post-credit scene to this episode. Like, any of y'all flipping through the credits, like, is it hidden? Where is it?
Bruh, I was scrolling like looking for a scene.
Episode 5 breakdown. This is the second to last episode of Loki. Specifically though, I'm going to be pointing out all the Loki episode 5 Easter eggs because there are some really fun ones this episode. Details you might have missed. Continuous speculation to what is going on. But I'm also need you guys to give me your spoiler review down below for Loki episode 5. Did you dig this episode? Do you think they're building up to a good finale? Honestly, I feel like if next week's episode lands the mark and ends it pretty good, this might be my favorite Disney Plus series so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but let's jump into the episode. So far, we open up with this great upside down shot of the TVA. Really,
Before we get into this, so far for me, the Falcon Winter Soldier is still my favorite, and that's on a personal level. I just connected with it really differently because of personal things. I enjoy them all equally. I love them all. I've watched them multiple times, so it doesn't matter to me. But personally, Falcon Winter Soldier, I kind of resonate with. Let's roll back some.
Series so far. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but let's jump into the episode. So starting off, we open up with this great upside down shot of the TVA, really symbolizing how
I was
everything
like,
has literally been
the camera
flipped on its
starts
head for the workers
turning.
of the TVA
I was like, oh,
and
my
even
goodness.
the fake robot timekeepers. I was fully expecting
oh
that
my
head
God.
to start smiling and winking at the camera. But then we quickly cut to the area that Loki was sent to at the end of episode 4, and here is where we get one of our first fun Easter eggs. All of us thinking that this building right here is the Avengers Tower, at least it used to be, because after Spider-Man Homecoming, the building was sold off, and if we zoom in here, at the right moment, we see that the new owner is Quinnage Enterprise, and funny enough, Quinnage Enterprises is the exact same company that bought Stark Towers from Tony Stark in the comic book, so Loki's being very accurate to this future. Gotta admit, though, that really puts a lot of our theories to shame of people who are hoping it was the Baxter building, or maybe it was the new Oscorp Tower, but we also don't know how far into the future this is, or if this is some sort of variant timeline, so there's still hope that in the main MCU that
I wasn't thinking Oscorp or Baxter Building. I was just thinking it was the original Stark Tower because it didn't have the pad up there for the jet, which was during the when it became the Avenger Tower.
That Avengers Tower could belong to the Fantastic Four or Norman Osborn. Also, did anybody audibly say, holy crap, when they saw Alioth, the frickin' smoke monster? That is a great effect. We then cut to Sylvie and Ravonna Rainslayer hashing it out, talking about what just happened, where we, as the audience, are trying to figure out right now, okay, did Ravonna Rainslayer know these guys were robots? Is she as surprised as us, or is she in on it? And I was kind of 50-50 throughout the episode until the very end. But no, she is clearly still in denial. She definitely wants answers, but she still believes in the way of the TVA. I'm almost shocked that Sylvie
Yes,
did not
she
go ahead
does.
and enchant a couple of people, unlock her mind, or unlock Mobius's mind later in this episode. But we cut back to Loki interacting with his variant selves that we saw at the end of episode 4, getting a little bit more details into what's happening, and he lets them know that this basically is the end of the timeline, the void, and Alioth eats up everything in this area if you're not constantly moving and avoiding him. And also just want to point out, they confirm that the alligator is a Loki variant and not the pet of Kids Loki, because man, so many of y'all commenting and roasting me saying, no, that's just a pet, it's not a real Loki. Eat it up, y'all! But here is where some of the best Easter eggs of the entire season happen. One of the first ones that caught my eye is we have the helmet of Yellow Jacket, which was the villain in the first Ant-Man movie. This is kind of...
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't catch that at all. Hold on, you guys. I didn't catch that at all as being his helmet. That's a really good catch. I mean, that I'm stuck on that one. That one was good. That was really good. Really, really good.
Got sucked into the void, into atoms, and it looks like parts of his costume ended up on this side of the timeline. Since he just erupted into the quantum realm, and the quantum realm does have some time travel involved, it could be that parts of his body scattered across the timeline, and this is just where one of his helmets ended up in giant form. That's an awesome Easter egg. Probably what's going to be everyone's favorite Easter egg, and I don't even blame them. They actually went ahead and included the Thanos helicopter that is comic accurate. I have no idea why.
It is comic accurate.
Comics, Thanos has
From
a
the first time I
helicopter
seen
with
that, I
his
was
name.
cracking up.
And I guess in the variant timeline, so did another Thanos out there. That has to be my favorite Easter egg in a long time. Bravo to whoever thought of putting that in. Another couple of fun Easter eggs here is as
This
they're
is
moving
like my
into
favorite
the
one.
underground base, we get to see the dirt layer, and Mjolnir, as we know it to be, is in this voided timeline. I thought that was a cool little awesome Easter egg until we looked a little further.
Okay.
And we have our first freaking appearance of Thor the Frog. What? Oh, that comes really close to beating
Throg.
the Thanos
That's
helicopter.
Throg.
But if you guys don't know, in the comic books, there is a version of Thor who's a frog that is almighty and worthy. Even on the jar, it has labeled his first appearance Thor number 365. It's just a fun little story.
T36.
Who knows if it'll ever come into play, but the
We
fact
talked about
that they
this
created
during
him
the
and put him in
stream
the show for a split
last
second
night.
made me really happy, especially just seeing his cute little Thor outfit. A couple of more Easter eggs when they finally get inside the lair. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff here I'm gonna miss, but the one I have to point out as a horror fan is the arcade machine Polybus. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but there's an interesting history involved with this arcade machine. There's long been a conspiracy whether this arcade machine was real, and people thought it was made by the government to be a test, to be recruited into some sort of program. There's even been other stories that if you play the game, it gives you nightmares, or you experience some haunting effects. I suggest you watch the Angry Video Games Nerd.
Yeah, there's a movie
to get a little more information. But it's here in this layer where we start to learn a little bit more about these Lokis, which was much needed because there's not much comic information based off these Loki variants. But the Loki with the hammer, who was wielding his own Mjolnir, was going ahead and telling a story how he defeated Iron Man. Captain America was wielding 6 Infinity Stones, and that's what caused his Nexus event to be captured by the TVA. Richard E. Grant's story was a little darker, but kind of paralleled the Loki from the MCU, where after he went ahead and fought Thanos on the ship in the beginning of Infinity War, he casted such a realistic projection that it even fooled Thanos, faking his death in a classic way and then spending the rest of his time isolated until he decided, you know what? I miss my brother, I miss my family, I'm gonna go see them, and as soon as he stepped off that planet, the TVA took him away. But from there we come back to Sylvie and Ravonna Rainslayer, where we see that Sylvie sees no other option than to prune herself, believing what Ravonna has told her, that pruning will only send you into the dimension where Loki's at, in hopes that he's still alive and she can save him, successfully making it to this void timeline and coming in contact with none other than Mobius. I figured if Loki was alive at the end of episode 4, of course Mobius would be too, but it was just funny to see him roll up in a pizza car. Also nice to see some real world landmarks in the back.
I think it's cool to know that they all go to the same deserted planet, basically. Because at first the thought was that they possibly go to multiple planets, for their own planet, where it's just I was thinking like a torture situation where it's this roam forever by themselves or with other variations of themselves that, had their own Nexus events. So, but the fact they all go to one place, you would think there'd be a lot more people, but from watching it, the younger Loki, he was talking about the other people that they could be looking out for when they were walking through the upper crust, and so there's more. We just didn't see them.
Background, the pyramids, the Egyptian statues. Now as they go on the look for Loki, we cut back to Loki, who now meets even more variants of himself that I was really looking forward to. I thought there was going to be a lot more, and sure enough, here it's just some wacky random Loki variants. You can definitely tell by some of the helmets they have here, like one with a bike helmet, one with the traditional classic Loki
The bike
helmet
helmet
that even has a costume made from the comic that was part of a Vote for Loki issue. I thought this was going to be way more significant. It just turned out to be another play of what happens when you try creating plans with other Lokis. They all each backstab you or bite your hand off. However, our remaining loyal Lokis still band together, escape the madness, coming in contact with Sylvie and Mobius. We then cut back to the TVA where we get some clear answers that Ravonna Rainslayer is just as lost as us, and she wants to find out who's at the head of the TVA, but without really dismantling the TVA because she still believes in the cause. And we know this because she interrogates Hunter B-15, which is nice to know she's still alive. But through this conversation, Ravonna Rainslayer decides to do the investigating on her own and asks Miss Minute to go ahead and look up as many files as she can about the birth of the TVA, which I'm just like, girl, whoever created the Timekeepers also created Miss Minute. You're basically secretly asking whoever is in charge of the TVA to snoop on the TVA. I don't think that's gonna work out. And now I'm starting to think Kang the Conqueror is definitely not showing up, and it's probably gonna be revealed that it's Miss Minutes. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that's who it's going to be now. But we cut back to our heroes in this void timeline.
Didn't we talk about that last night?
I do like how Mobius questions the fact whether Alligator Loki is actually a Loki, and maybe he was just faking it to survive, but then he says, well, that is what a Loki would do, so maybe it's contradictory. However, they come up with a plan to enchant Alioth, hoping that he is the guard dog that is stopping the real person in charge of the TVA. As they're looking over in the horizon, we do get Thanos' ship from Endgame. We also get a helicarrier in the background. Just more fun Easter eggs to see that I enjoy. And before we even get to the final battle, I gotta admit,
I didn't even catch the helicarrier.
Confused here why people were going their separate ways. I'm like, wait, if they have the temp pad, why don't they just leave already? Why can't Mobius stay with them? Why are the other Lokis walking away? Maybe it's because it's 2 a.m. and I had my sleepy brain, but I felt like that scene could have played out a little better. Nonetheless, when it came to them going after Alioth and putting their plan in action, man, was it some glorious stuff. Just seeing Richard E. Grant.
To be honest, when we were in those moments where they were talking about devising a plan to try to enchant Alioth, there comes to a point where, of course, Richard E. Grant, old Loki, and young Loki, and Alligator Loki do actually go on their own. Hiddleston Loki asked them about, coming with them basically, and they say, no, we're gonna stay here. Like this, it's almost like maybe they've been there so long that that's all they know, and they feel out of place anywhere else, maybe, which is kind of not really the best decision, because if the plan goes through and they destroy Alioth, then it's like you guys are stuck there for real. But at least they wouldn't have to deal with no drama. I don't know, because where would they go? They would be out of time technically, out of timeline. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But this scene here that he's about to talk about with the older Loki, when he actually he creates the imagery of Asgard, so freaking cool. It's so cool. I was very impressed by this scene.
Go ahead and fulfill his glorious purpose of creating
the best
illusion ever created, his Asgard. Absolutely awesome. And even just Loki and Sylvie pointing out, I guess we're stronger than we think, and it would make sense that it's the older Loki that can do this because he's had years and time to practice this kind of stuff. But for a character we just barely met, I thought it was really heartbreaking to see him die, but he definitely went out like a champion. But to finish the enchantment, both Loki and Sylvie must join together. Loki enchanting someone for the first time, being able to do it, and opening opening up the doorway to hopefully who is behind the TVA, who's pulling all the strings, the end of the timeline. And man, I am floored to why there was not an end credit scene, a post credit scene this episode. Like, they started doing it last week, so you would think
I
they keep
was
doing it
too.
to the final episode. Why would you skip it? Marvel, that's not cool. Nonetheless, everything is going to be answered next week, and kind of what old Loki was saying, Richard E. Grant, where he was talking about going to live on his own, away from the pain. I felt like our Loki was really connecting with that and sympathizing. I feel like by the end of the season, he might go ahead and take that advice and go off by himself, live somewhere, maybe with Sylvie, once they take care of whoever's in charge of the TVA. Either way, this was a great episode. I
was
can't
kinda
wait to
thinking
see
that
the
too.
finale. I want to hear from you guys. Do you have some favorite Easter eggs from this episode? Who do you think will be in charge of the TVA? I don't think it's going to be King and Conqueror, but it would be awesome to see, especially with that Ant-Man Easter egg this episode. Maybe. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.
Okay, once again, that's 3C Films, and I'll put a link in the description for his videos, and he does really good breakdowns. And sometimes like their breakdowns are kind of like a little out there. What he's like really reached for, like how everybody was talking about Mephisto WandaVision. He's really been on this thing about Miss Minutes being in control, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Like if it is Miss Minutes, I don't. It has to be something else behind her, because to me, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, what's the point? What's the purpose? You know what I'm saying? Realize going to that kingdom or building after they get rid of Goliath, it's like I don't know enough about the Thor mythos to even think off the top of the head, you know, who that is and whose home that is or whose dwelling that is. I I just want to see who it is. I'm hoping it's somebody significant, I guess you could say, in the storyline that's gonna help, you know, fracture time even more. I mean, shoot, hell, what if it's like I don't even know. Like, it's so crazy that to think about it, I don't even have a guess. I don't have a guess, not the guess with a T, but a guess. I'm just not sure, because it would be cool if it was Kang, but I don't believe it. From episode 4 to now, I was like, okay, I don't think it's gonna be Kang Conqueror. But to who it is, being that they're at the end of time and the end of the void that's at the end of time, I was thinking it just could be He Who Remains, and him. He's just still control. He's still technically control. He just had the animatronic versions of TVA, and maybe there are real versions, or maybe it's just a TVA in you know, in real, in IRL. Like it's really them. They just have the bots at the actual TVA. You know, the timekeepers. I mean, they had the bot timekeepers at TVA. But it'll be. I'm curious to see what it is. I'm hoping that they go out with a big bang on the last episode. And it doesn't have to be like a crazy duel or anything, but just a really good tied up bow on the ending to give me some actual closure on the story. Even though we know, or we all feel, that this is really playing into the feed of WandaVision and destroying the timeline even more. And I think there's going to be something that Doctor Strange does in Spider-Man movie that breaks it open even more. And I think this is going to allow Kevin Feige and Marvel and Sony to make all the changes they need to create the worlds that they're trying to create right now with the Venomverse, which is going to be connected to Morbius, and which is going to be connected to Blade, and back to Deadpool. You know, like they're trying to connect all those characters, Fantastic Four, X-Men, you know, Doctor Doom, which we know is coming, Namor, which we know is coming. They're trying to just bring all this in at once, and I'm really curious how they're going to do this, and I'm just eager to see the last episode. I'm kind of sad that it's going to be the last episode. Now, my question to you guys first is, did you like the last episode? If you did, let me know. Let me know what's your favorite scene in the last episode. My honest favorite scene was the seeing Mjolnir in the dirt, in the layers of the dirt, and seeing Throg, the frog Thor, seeing Throg. That was actually my favorite scene. It was interesting hearing them tell their stories of how they created their next events. Those were cool. Still think young Loki is a badass because he actually murdered Thor. So if he was young, that means Thor was young. He got rid of Thor early. He knew Thor was gonna be a problem, which was smart as the villain. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I appreciate you. I thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all your love and your comments on all the videos. If you're looking for the NBA Finals reaction, we had it. We did it. We created a thumbnail way earlier in the day, but the video got blocked. So we're not going to be able to do that. I'll try to figure out somewhere else to put it. I could try to put it on Instagram. Could try to put it in a spot where we can figure it out, or maybe in a Google Drive in Discord. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm thinking about putting together a Patreon and then having just a section of all the block stuff and put that all together so you guys can see the videos that get blocked automatically and those go straight there. So if you just pay, a $1 support fee, you can be able to watch them. Anyways, I appreciate you. I love you. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, noon, wherever you are in the world today. My name is Nonpfixion, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace, love, and I'm out. All right, y'all. Have a great week or rest of your week. Peace.